Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you guys had a good week. Listen, I got a lot of feedback yesterday. A lot of my students liked that I gave a day to catch up. I am okay with doing that once a week, but we have to make a deal. If I'm going to be a teacher who just gives you a day off every week, I have to expect that you're going to get your work in and it's going to look as if you were sitting in my class. A lot of you, when you do your work, and you're in my class, it looks great. And then you do it at home and you send me stuff that I show my daughters and they cringe. So give me your best and I'll give you that day off. You only have 4 days of math every single week. So here's your answers to Wednesday's work. Pause it at any point. I think the most important part is, I know you're good with perimeter, is that area formula for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. We have another triangle on our hands here. Take a look at all the numbers. Again, we got to divide that base times height divided by 2. And good old rectangle. And there are your formulas. Again, pause if you need to. Go right back to where we started. This was our trapezoid. That was the only one that had a real interesting formula. And again, it's both bases added together. So the flat bottom base and the opposite, the parallel base, you're going to add those up. So 5 plus 3 is 8. You're going to multiply that by the height. Remember when you go to the doctor's office that when you stand up straight, that's when they measure your height. You multiply that by 5.5 and you're going to cut it in half and you will get 22 feet squared. All right, so let's get set up for today. It is Friday. Today probably will be my most fun lesson, and I always look forward to teaching this to my students in class, so we'll see how it goes through virtual learning. But we're going to find the perimeter and area of what we call irregular figures. Now, irregular, all it means, and some of you know what irregular is because you're kind of irregular and you know who I'm talking about. They're shapes that really don't have a name to them. So like this shape here, there's not really a name. Some people might call it a polygon, but there's no specific name like a square, rectangle, and so on. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to spend some time looking at these shapes and saying to ourselves, can we find the perimeter? We're going to start with perimeter. And one of the things I want you to do is I want you to pause this video for a second, and I want you to locate 2 different colors, either highlighters, crayons, markers, something. I need to see 2 different colors. So pause the video now, go get 2 colors. All right, now here's why. We have to figure out what A and what B are on this irregular figure. And this is where my students struggle the most. Even when they're sitting in front of me, this is a hard concept to figure out. So what I always like to do is I always start with my base and I pick a color and I highlight it. So that line right down there is 11 centimeters long. And I look and I say to myself, on this irregular polygon, do I have any other lines that run parallel to that 11? Meaning, do they go in the same direction? And I do. I have a 7 and I have a B. Now, which of these lines that I just highlighted orange is the longest line? You're right, it's 11. So this and this are going to make that. So what's 7 plus what is 11? 7 plus 4 is 11. So B is 4. Now I want you to grab that other color. Find the biggest line that runs up and down. Vertical. What other lines run vertical? We have a 6 and we have an A. Now again, I need to see the colors today. I apologize. You're at home. You should have access to thousands of colors. Crayons, markers, highlighters. Get those colors. So we have the longest line is 8. We have a 6 and something else that make 8. 6 plus what equals 8? You're right. That's 2. Very, very good. So to find the perimeter, you guys are good at that. P equals, now I figure out how many sides. We've got 1. I'm going to put a little check here so I don't count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to need my 6 sides. And one of the things I do when I get to irregular polygons like this, because there are so many, I put that check at the first number I pick so that I make sure that I don't write it again when I get there, because it happens. And I don't want that to happen. All right, so I add all those up and I'll have the perimeter. You guys are usually pretty good at that. We got 11 and 8 is 19, 26, 28, 32, 38 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write that down below. 38 centimeters. And I figured you guys are probably really good at that. Now the area. And this is where it gets a little tricky. There are so many different ways to do this. I'm going to show you what I do. And I take that figure and I say, how can I divide up this figure into 2 figures that I can find the area of both and then add them together? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to draw a line right here. And when I do it, I have one rectangle here and I have another rectangle there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of this one, I'm going to find the area of this one, and I'll add them together. So let me just get set up for here. Area of a rectangle is length times width, or base times height. And I'm going to do rectangle 1. So I'm going to say that the length of the base is what's opposite here, 4 and 4. And the height is 6, or the width is 6. And I got 24 centimeters squared for the first one. Now the second one, let me get a little more space. I write the same formula down. This time I'm going to go base times height. Now I know what you're thinking. This right here is 11 centimeters, right? No, it's not. The whole thing is 11. I just want from here to here. So opposites are equal, so I'll take 7 times 8. 7 times 8 is 56. And to find the total area, I add these 2 babies up. And I get 80 centimeters squared. Okay, so that was definitely, interesting. The perimeter part, I think you're going to be fine with. The area thing, I think you're going to be fine with too. You just got to be careful. You don't take that long side when you're looking at just like rectangle 2. You wouldn't want to make an 11 as your base because that would be way too big. That would cut into shape number 1. All right, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to try this one now. I want you to pause the video right now at the 8-minute, 24-second time, and I'd like you to try this. When you are done, unpause me and let's see how you did. Go for it. All right, so this is the big side. So it's 12 and 16 make D. 12 plus 16 is 28. Grab my other color. Remember, I want to see those colors. These lines go up and down. They're vertical. My big line is 12. My little lines are C and 4. So 4 plus what is 12? 8. The perimeter, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 6 sides. And let me just spend a second adding those babies up. Total would be, let's see, I'll do it really quick. 28 and 12 is 40. 40 and 16 is 20, so that's 60. I'm going to go 68. And I'm going to go 78. I'm going to go 80. Perimeter is 80 inches. And I'm going to throw that down here. See how you did. Now for the area, I'm going to cut it like this. Make this rectangle 1 and this rectangle 2. Maybe I'll just do the area right up here. So we have area of rectangle 1. I'm going to go base times height. And I don't want to use 28 for the base because I'm only looking for this part right here where 1 is. So this would be the same thing as this. So I'm going to go 12 times 12. It's 144 inches squared. And then the second shape, I need the same formula, and I want to see those formulas. Now this D, it wouldn't be 28 for this whole bottom base because it cuts into 1. It would just be from here to here. So that would be 16 times 4. That's 64 inches squared. And if I add these two together, I get 208 inches squared. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm hoping cutting the shapes up weren't too bad for you. And I know I went, kind of quick. I want to make sure that I'm not boring the heck out of you. And some of you are probably rolling your eyes now saying, well, you are. But what I'd like you guys to do on this Friday, now that we've done 2 together, is I'd like you to try 2 on your own. I'd like you to go to the next page, okay? The 2 problems I'd like you to try are these top 2, okay? So interesting enough, oops, sorry about that. Interesting enough, you're going to have to figure out using colors the missing side for Y. And you're going to have to find the missing sides for P and Q. And then I'm just curious how you guys are going to figure out the area, but I'll leave that up to you. Remember, I've got to see colors in your work today. Do not send me something that doesn't have colors. All right, you guys have a wonderful day, a better weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. If you haven't, get your quiz.com in before 11 a.m. today so you get credit. Hasta la vista.